Junie B. Jones is not a crook. 1. Chapter 1, No Good Reason. My name is Junie B. Jones. The B stands for Beatrice, except I don't like Beatrice. I just like the B, and that's all. Here's a story for you. It's called Once Upon a Time, my grandfather named Frank Miller went to the store and he bought me some mittens. Once upon a time, my grandfather named Frank Miller went to the store and he bought me some mittens. They are made out of black furry fur. And guess what? It was not even my birthday, or Christmas, or Valentine's Day. Plus, the mittens were not even on sale. Grandma Miller just bought them for no good reason, and that's the bestest reason I ever heard of. That's how come I love that guy very much. Plus, he can skip. He can skip. That end. I like that story a real lot. 'Cause guess why? I didn't even make it up. That's why. The adventure actually happened to me. My grandpa Miller really did buy me some mittens for no good reason. And they are gorgeous, I tell you. When I first opened them, I got filled with glee. Glee is when you run and jump and skip and laugh and clap and dance on the top of the dining room table. When your mother takes you down from the table and carries you to your room for a timeout. Timeout to kill the glee. I wore my new mittens the whole entire morning. Plus, I also wore them to afternoon kindergarten. I wore them with my attractive winter jacket. Only it wasn't actually cold out. Only who even cares? 'Cause that outfit looked beautiful together. I showed my mittens to my bestest friend named Grace. Also, I showed them to a variety of strangers. After I got to school, I held my hands over my head and would run all over the playground. Look, everybody, look at my new mittens. My grandpa Frank Miller bought them for me for no good reason. I waved them all around in the air. How many children see these lovely things? Raise your hands, I hollered. Nobody raised their hands. How many children think these mittens are gorgeous? Please come forward, I yelled. Nobody came forward. I put my hands back down and I walked to that Grace. I couldn't create any interest, I said, with very glum. Only guess what? Just then, I spotted my other bestest friend named Lucille. I ran fast to greet her. Lucille, look at my gorgeous new mittens. See them? They are made out of black furry fur. Lucille petted them. My family has lots of fur, she said. My mother has a fur cape, and my aunt has a fur jacket, and my uncle has a fur hat. Plus, my Nana just bought a brand new mink coat. Only she can't wear it outside her house, or else people will throw paint on her. My mouth came all the way open. Why, Lucille? Why will people throw paint on your Nana? I asked. Lucille crossed her arms. Don't you know anything, Junie B. Jones? That it's because people who love furry animals don't like them being made into coats for Nanas. Just then I felt relief in me, because I'm not even a Nana, that's why. And besides, my mittens aren't even made out of real furry animals. They're made out of fake furry animals, and those kinds don't even count. All of a sudden, the bell rang for school. I zoomed to my room like a speeding rocket, because guess why? That more people to show my mittens to, that's why. Where did Junie B. Jones first go to show off her new mittens? Chapter 2, Fur Hands. I showed my mittens to my teacher. Her name is Miss. She has another name too, but I just like Miss, and that's all. Feel them, Miss, I said. Feel how soft they are. I rubbed them on her face. Ooh, they are soft, Junie B. She said, be sure to put them on your jacket pocket so they won't get lost, okay? I skipped very happy to my seat. Yeah, only I'm not even going to lose them, I said to myself. I'm going to wear them right on my hands the whole live long day, 'cause I love these guys, that's why. I took off my attractive winter jacket and sat down at my table. Then I tapped on Lucille with my furry mittens. Hello, how are you today? I have fur hands. See them, Lucille? See my hands of fur? I flew them in the air. That is what fur hands look like when they are flying in the air, I said. I waved hello. This is what fur hands look like when they are waving hello, I said. Lucille did a frown. You're being annoying, she said. That's how come I turned around, and I smiled at a boy named William. I have fur hands, William. See them? See my fur hands? I tapped on his head. This is what fur hands look like when they're tapping you on the head, I said. Just then, I got up from my chair, and I skipped to my boyfriend named Ricardo. I tickled him under the chin with my soft hands of fur. This is what fur hands look like when they're tickling you under the chin, I said. I grinned, and I grinned. Cause that boy brings out the best in me. That's why. Pretty soon, Miss saw me out of my seat. She held my hand and marched me back to my table. This is how fur hands look when they are marching to my table, I said. Miss plopped me in my chair. She pulled off my fur hands and she put them on her desk. I did a sad sigh. This is how fur hands look when they are no longer in my possession, I whispered just to myself. After that, I put my head on my desk and covered them with my arms. I didn't come out for a real long time. What did Junie B. Jones do to get her gloves taken away? Think of 3 examples. Chapter 3, Being Brownie. Miss, I said. Miss said I could have my mittens back at recess. I stared and stared at the clock. Then I tapped my fingers on my table, and I did loud breaths. Lucille tattletaled on me. Junie B. keeps tapping her fingers and making loud breaths. Can't even concentrate on my work, she grouched. Miss came to my table. Hello. How are you today? I said, kind of nervous. I'm fine, except I don't actually have my mittens. She tapped her foot real fast. That was not a good sign, I think. Only guess what? Just then the bell rang for recess. Oh boy, I yelled. Oh boy, because now I can have my mittens back. Right, Miss, right? I zoomed to her desk and put them on my hands. Then I rubbed those softy things all over my cheeks. It was good to be with you again, I whispered into their fur. After that, I put on my attractive winter jacket and skipped outside with my I skipped outside with my friends. Me and Tattletale Lucy and that Grace play horses together at recess. I am Brownie, Lucille is Blackie, and that Grace is Yellowy. I'm Yellowy, shouted Grace. I'm Blackie, shouted Lucille. I'm Brownie, I shouted. Only just then, I looked at my mittens. I did a frown. Because there was a little bit of a problem here, I think. Yeah, only how could I even be Brownie? Because my horse paws are black, and so I'm 2 different colors, apparently. Lucille and that Grace did frowns too. Said that Grace. Said Lucille. I said. Just then, Grace clapped her hands together, very excited. I know, Junie B. Today, you and Lucille can trade. Today, Lucille can be Brownie, and you can be Blackie. And that way your horse paws will be the right color. Me and Lucille looked at that girl. Because what kind of crazy idea was that? I did a huffy breath. Yeah, only how can I even be Blackie when I've already Brownie, Grace? I said, I've been Brownie for my whole entire career. You can't just go changing, you know. Yeah, Grace, you can't just go changing, said Lucille. That Grace looked embarrassed at herself. Oh yeah, what was I thinking? She said very mumbly. After that, all of us sat down in the grass and we tapped our chins. We thinked and thinked and thinked. Then all of a sudden my whole face lit up. Hey, I thought of it. I know exactly what to do, I shouted. I jumped up. Start again, Grace. Say your name again. Say that you are Yellowy. That Grace looked curious at me. I'm Yellowy, she said, pointing to Lucille. I'm Blackie, she said. I spun around and real joyful. I'm Brownie, I shouted. Only guess what? Yesterday my grandpa Brownie bought me black furry mittens, and so that is how I come and I am 2 different colors apparently. After that, all of us did high fives, and we started playing horses. We galloped and trotted and snorted and snuffled. Only too bad for me, because that sun kept on beating down on my horse head, and it did drippy inside my attractive winter jacket. I'm going to die from heat perspiration, I said. That is how I came trotted over to a tree and took all my stuff off. First I took my attractive winter jacket, then I took my furry black mittens, and I piled them in a careful pile. After that I galloped away to find my horse friends, and we played and played. Pretty soon Miss blew her loud whistle. That means the end of recess. "Coming," shouted Yellowy. "Coming," shouted Blackie. "Coming," I shouted. Then I hurried back to the tree to get my stuff. Only guess what? Saw something very terrible there. That's what. And it's called, "Hey, somebody stole my mittens." Why did Junie B. Jones take off her jacket and her mittens at recess? No teddy backpack. I ran around all the tree. 911, 911, 911, I hollered. "Somebody stole them. Somebody stole my mittens." Miss came very quick. "They stole them. They stole my mittens. 911, I shouted. Some more. Miss bent down next to me. "Who, Junie B? Who stole them?" she asked. "A stealer, that's who. A stealer stole them." And so what kind of school this is? Because I didn't even know there was crooks at this place. Miss said, "Calm down my voice." Yeah, only I can't even calm it down that good. Because I am heartsick. That's why. Heartsick is the grown-up word for when your heart is sick. I looked at the ground and said, "Now all I have left is my dumb, attractive jacket." Miss picked it up. Then she holded my hand, and me and her started to walk to the office. "You and I are going to the office," she told me. Tried to get my hand away from her. "No, miss, I'm not allowed to go there." Mother said if I get sent to the office one more time, I will get grounded, young lady. Tears came in my eyes. Grounded, young lady, is what you have to say when I have to stay on my own ground. Plus, also, I can only go on the rug. Miss Brown, "I'm not taking you to the principal's office to punish you, Junie. Taking you to find your mittens." I did a gasp. "Principal," I asked very soft. "Principal stole my mittens?" Nick laughed real loud. "No, Junie B, he didn't steal your mittens. The office is where the lost and found is located." After that, she took my hand again and hurried up to the office. There is a grouchy typing lady at that place. I am not fond of her. "Junie B needs to look to the lost and found," Miss told her. "Please send her back to the class when she's finished." Then Miss went back to room 9 and left me there all by myself. The typing lady looked over the counter at me. I did a gulp. "Yeah, only I'm not even bad today," I explained, very nervous. "Somebody stole my mittens, and that's the end of my tale." The typing lady kept on looking at me. She didn't say any words. Sweat came on my head. "Whew, it's warmish in here, isn't it?" I said. Just then I heard the door open. It was Principal. He was coming out of his office. Jumped up and down at his sight, because I know that guy very good. "Principal, look, it's me, it's Junie B. Jones. My mittens got stolen on the playground, and Miss brought me here to get them. Just hand them over, I'll be on my way. No questions asked." Principal looked funny at me. Then he went to the closet and pulled out a big box. "This is the lost and found, Junie B," he explained. "Anytime that someone finds something that's been lost, they bring it here, and we put it in this box." "How come?" I asked. "How come they bring it here instead of taking it home?" "'Cause one time I found a nickel in the street. Daddy said I could pick it up and put it in my bank. 'Cause finding isn't the same thing as stealing, right, Principal? Finding is a lucky duck." Principal laughed a little bit. "Well, finding a nickel off the street is different, Junie B. For one thing, it would be almost impossible to discover who the owner of the nickel really was. And for another thing, losing a nickel isn't really a big deal. But when someone loses something personal, like mittens, for instance, well, that's a very big deal. And so if someone finds the mittens, they bring them here to the lost and found, and the owner can get them back." He smiled. "And that makes everyone happy, Junie B," he said. "The owner is happy because she has her mittens back, and the person who found them is happy because she's done a good deed." She pointed to a piece of paper and taped on the box. "See this? This poem is the 3rd grade wrote on the lost and found. It says, 'If you find stuff, bring it in. All day long, you'll wear a grin.'" I did a frown. "Yeah, only here's the problem. I didn't lose my mittens. They got stolen on purpose, and no one will bring them and wear a grin, probably. Principal raised his eyebrows. Well, you never know, Junie B. Why don't you look in there and see? He opened up the box for me. That's when my eyes got big and wide, because it was filled with wonderfulest items I ever saw. There were sweaters and sweatshirts and baseball caps and gloves and balls and lunchboxes and a scarf and sunglasses and a watch with Mickey Mouse on it. Also, there was a backpack that looked like a teddy bear. Ooh, I always wanted one of these, I hollered, real thrilled. Put it on my back and skipped around the office. How does it look back there, I asked. Principal ran after me. He took the teddy off my back and put it back in the box. We're looking for your mittens, remember? Just then I felt upset again, because I almost forgot about those furry guys, that's why. Oh yeah, my mittens, I said real glum. I looked through the box some more. They're not here, I said. My mittens are gone forever, and I think, did a sad sigh. Then I picked up the teddy backpack again. Maybe I'll take this instead, because this teddy backpack will ease my pain, I believe. Principal said no. How come, I asked. Because the owner doesn't even want it anymore, I bet. Her mother already bought her a new teddy backpack, probably, and this one is just going to waste. Principal stood me up and turned me to the door. That meant I'm leaving, I think. Come back tomorrow and look for your mittens again, he said. I talked real fast. Yeah, only I just remembered something. I used to have a teddy backpack just like that one, maybe. Only I lost it, probably. And so I better take the one home with me, or else my mother might be mad. Principal walked me to the door. He faced me down the hall. Goodbye, Junie B. He said. I hanged my head real disappointed, 'cause guess why? Goodbye means no teddy backpack. What is the setting in this chapter? Gargling and scribbling. Room 9 is way far from Principal's office. I had to stop at the water fountain, or else I might not make it. I pressed the water button with my thumb. Then I puckered my lips, and I sucked the water in. I didn't even put my mouth on the spout, because there's lip dirt on that thing, of course. I sloshed the water all around in my cheeks. Then I bedded my head all the way back, and I did some gargles. I can gargle very perfect, except I can't keep the water in my actual mouth. I ran out of the sides and dribbled on the floor. I splashed in with my toe. That's when I saw something very wonderful down there. Hey, it's one of those pens that writes 4 different colors, I said. A quick picked it up and pushed a little red button on the top. A red pen popped out of the bottom. I scribbled red scribbles all over my hand. Whoa-y, whoa, whoa. I love this thing, I said. After that, I pushed the green button and scribbled some scribbles. And pushed the blue button and scribbled some blue scribbles. Plus, also, I pushed the black button and scribbled some black scribbles. This pen makes scribbling a pleasure, I said. I put it in my pocket and started skipping to room 9. Only too bad for me, because all of a sudden I remembered about the lost and found. I stopped. Oh no, I wish I hadn't remembered about that, I said. Now to take my pen to the lost and found, or else I won't wear a grin. I did a frown, because something didn't make sense here, that's why. Yeah, only I was already wearing a grin. And wearing a grin as soon as I saw the wonderful thing. And so taking it to the office only made me sad. I tapped on my chin. Maybe Principal was a little mixed up about this, I said to myself. I'm pretty sure I'll be happier if I keep it. And here's another thing I'm thinking. I'm thinking whoever owned this pen didn't even take good care of it. So I'll give it a good home. And so what can be a gooder deed than that? I took it out of my pocket and looked at it. Plus, this even makes sense, because first I got my mittens stolen, and then I couldn't have the teddy backpack, and so keeping this pen is fair and square. All of a sudden, my whole face lighted up, because I just thought of a different poem, that's why, and it's called Finders Keepers, Losers Weepers. Finders Keepers, Losers Weepers, I said, real thrilled. Finders Keepers, Losers Weepers. Then I jumped up and down very happy, because everybody says that, and so Finders Keepers is really the rule, I bet. After that, I put my pen in my backpack and skipped the rest of the way to room 9.
I played it.
Okay, what poem did Junie B make up? Chapter 6, My Grandpa's Wallet. I kept my pen in my pocket the whole rest of the day. I didn't want people to see it, or else they might tattletale to miss. And and she would make me take it to the lost and found. I behaved myself very good, because I didn't want to attract attention, that's why. I kept my hand in my pocket so my pen wouldn't fall out. Also, I kept thinking about my mittens, because I still miss those furry guys. I put my head down on my table. Maybe Grandpa Miller might buy me some more furry mittens, I whispered, because that would be a perfect solution, I think. I raised up my head. Oh yeah, then I would have wonderful new mittens, plus a wonderful new pen, and what more could a girl ask for? That's what I'd like to know. I sat up in my chair and tapped on Lucille. Guess what, Lucille? Maybe Grandpa Frank Miller might buy me some new mittens, and then all my troubles will be over. Lucille said whoop-de-doo for me. I know, it's whoop-de-doo, I said, real thrilled. And so, thank you for your support. After school, me and my bestest friend named Grace rode the bus together. I ran home from my corner like a speedy bullet. My Grandpa Frank Miller was babysitting my brother named Ollie. Grandpa Frank Miller! Grandpa Frank Miller! We gotta go to the mitten store! We gotta go to the mitten store! I hollered real loud. Grandpa Frank Miller was in the living room rocking Ollie. He looked funny at me. Go where? He asked. To the mitten store, to the mitten store. We gotta go to the mitten store. I pulled on his hand. Get up, let's get a wiggle on. Grandpa Miller looked confused at me. That took him I had to sit down, and I told him what happened at school. Someone stole my mittens, I said. They stole them while I was being brownie, and they didn't even know where they crooks. I didn't even know there were crooks at that place. Grandpa Frank Miller shook his head very sad. I guess you can find crooks almost anywhere, honey, he said. I know it, I told him. That's how come I'm never going to see those furry guys again. And so you and me have to go to the mitten store. Felt his back pocket, then I danced around real good. Hooray, hooray for your big fat wallet. Because you got cash in there, right, Grandpa? Right? Grandpa Frank Miller laughed. Yes, I do. I've got cash, all right, he said. But I'm afraid we won't be able to buy you more mittens. The mittens I bought were only the only furry ones they had left. I bought the very last pair. Just then, all the happy went right out of me, because I didn't actually count on the terrible development. Yeah, only we have to, Grandpa. We have to buy more furry mittens, or else what will I even do? Grandma ruffled my hair. Did you look in the lost and found at school? He asked, did a sad breath. Yeah, only that dumb thing doesn't work that good, because people don't always turn stuff in. I patted my new pen in my pocket. Trust me on this one, I said real soft. Well, your mittens could still turn up, he said. Folks will surprise you sometimes. Then he told me a story about his wallet. A few years ago, I lost my wallet in the mall. I was sure I'd never see it again, he said. Bobbed my head up and down. I know it. That's because finders keepers, losers weepers, I said. Finders keepers, losers weepers is the rule, right, Grandpa? Grandpa Miller smiled. Well, it might be the rule for some people, he said, but luckily it's not the rule for everyone. Because the very next day when I went out to get my mail, there it was. My wallet was sitting right smack in the middle of my mailbox, and not one single penny was missing. His eyes looked happy and sparkly. Can you imagine that, little girl, he said. Someone had the chance to take everything in my wallet, but instead they drove all the way to my house and they put it in my mailbox. Just then he reached in his back pocket and pulled out his wallet. Look what I would have to lost if they hadn't returned it. Took a picture out of his wallet and he handed it to me. It's you and a baby. But that's not just any baby, he said. That's you, Junie B. That's the picture of the very first time I ever held you. He took the picture back and stared at it. Nicest thing a stranger ever did for me. Bringing this picture back, he whispered real soft. Then he leaned over again and kissed me on the head. Why couldn't they go to the mitten store to get a new pair of furry mittens? Chapter 7, The Pink Fluffy Girl. After I talked to my grandpa, I went to my room. I closed the door real secret. Then I took a wonderful pen out of my pocket, and I did a big sigh. Because I had a confession in me. That's why. I wish I never heard that wallet story. Because finders, keepers, losers, weepers isn't the rule, apparently. And so now maybe I might be a crook. I looked at my wonderful pen. Yeah, only I don't even feel like a crook. I feel like a lucky duck. But I still have to take this thing to the lost and found, probably. and it'll go to waste just like the teddy backpack. All of a sudden, I heard Mother and Daddy come home from work. I quick hid my pen under my mattress, because those two would not be understanding of this situation. They came in my room and kissed me hello. I told them what happened to my mittens. They begged and begged for them to take me to the store, but my mother said there's no more left, and Daddy said there's no more left too, and there was no more left apparently. That's how I got depressed all over again, and I couldn't even sleep good that night. I kept wondering about who was the mitten crook, and what did he look like, because I've seen crooks on TV before, and they're biggish and meanish with tattoos on themselves. Just then I sat up on my bed, because a good idea popped into my head. That's why. Hey, tattoo is an easy spot, I bet, and anybody can find that crook on the playground tomorrow. After that, I went straight to sleep, because I would need my strength for crooking tomorrow. The next day at recess, I didn't play horses with Lucille and Grace. Instead, I ran all around the ground looking for the mitten crook. Only too bad for me, because most of the children had their jackets on, and so I couldn't even see any crooks with tattoos. Pretty soon the bell rang, and that's when my eyes got tears in them, because I would never see my mittens again. Not ever, ever, never. I started walking to room 9. My nose was sniffling and drippity. I wiped in on my attractive jacket sleeve. Then all of a sudden, a pink fluffy girl skipped past me. She had on a pink fluffy dress with pink fluffy socks and shoes, and a fluffy jacket made out of pink fluffy fur. Guess what else? She had black furry mittens in her pink fluffy pockets. My eyes got wide and big. Hey, my mittens, my mittens, my mittens, I screamed loud. Then I put my head down and I zoomed to her like a speeding bull. Miss saw me running. She grabbed me by my attractive winter jacket, jumped up and down and pointed. That pink fluffy girl stole my mittens. She is a crook. Only her jacket is covering up her tattoo, and that's what had me stumped. Miss called to the pink fluffy girl. She skipped over where we were. I kept on jumping. You stole them. You stole my mittens. No, I didn't. I didn't steal anything. I found these mittens. They were right in the grass, and so I thought nobody wanted them. I did. I yelled. I wanted them. My Grandma Miller bought me them for no good reason. And I've been worrying about them all day, all night, and that's called a heartache, madam. Miss said to hush my voice. She took my mittens away from the pink fluffy girl and gave them back to me. She bended down and talked to the pink fluffy girl real serious. Even if you thought nobody wanted these mittens, it was wrong of you to take them, she told her. The pink fluffy girl pointed at me. But she didn't even take good care of them, she said. I stamped my foot. Yes, I did. I did too take care of them. I left them in my attractive winter jacket, so I didn't even know there were crooks in this place. Miss said hush to me again. You should have taken them to the lost and found, she told the pink fluffy girl. Yeah, because then I would have found them when I looked there. And so what do you think the box is there for? My health? The pink fluffy girl started to cry. But I really, really love them, she said. Miss smoothed her hair. I'm afraid that's not the issue. Yeah, we're afraid that's not the issue, I said, because finders keepers isn't the rule, apparently. And so from now on, if you find my stuff, you have to take it to the lost and found. Plus, also you can put it in my grandpa's mailbox. Miss looked at me a real long time. She said I am getting on her nerves. After that, she held the pink fluffy girl's hand and they went to go talk to her teacher. Quickly put my mittens on, then buried my face in the black furry fur. I danced around, real joyful. Who took Junie B. Jones' pink fluffy mittens? Chapter 8, I am not a crook. The next day I went to the principal's office. The grouchy typing lady looked over the counter at me. I rocked back and forth on my feet. Yeah, only I'm not even bad again, I said. I just need to go to the lost and found, and that's all. The grouchy typing lady opened the closet. She pulled out the big box. And just then, the phone rang, and she hurried to answer it. I quick bended down and digged hands in the lost and found. My heart got very thrilled, because I saw that wonderful teddy backpack again. That's why. I snuggled my face in his tummy. I still love this soft guy, I whispered. I put him on my back and skipped all around. The grouchy typing lady hanged up the phone. Did you lose that too, she asked. Is that why you're here? I kept on standing there. Well, I said. Finally, I did a big sigh. Then I walked very slowly to the box. I took off the teddy backpack. No, I said, not why. After that, I reached in my pocket and I pulled out my wonderful pen. I found this. It was on the floor by the water fountain, and I really, really love it. Only that is not the issue. I did a big deep breath, and I dropped my wonderful pen into the lost and found. I am not a crook, I said, kind of quiet. The grouchy typing lady looked nicer at me. She ruffled my hair. No, she said, of course you're not a crook. After that, I rocked back and forth on my feet some more and waited and waited and waited. The typing lady raised her eyebrows at me. I'm waiting for the grin, I explained. Only there seems to be a delay. She laughed right out loud. That's when I felt it, the grin. It came right on my face. Hey, it's working, I said real squealy, skipped all the way around the office, very happy. The typing lady opened the door and skipped all the way to room 9. And guess what? I didn't even find a pen that writes 4 different colors. And that was a big relief. What made Junie B. Jones grin? Can you summarize this book in 3 sentences? 1 for the beginning, 1 for the middle, and 1 for the end.